Hello, hi Jai Jagannath. This is Biswajit and you're listening to Siley Hover. Welcome to our third episode. One small update. Actually, we're on YouTube now, so feel free to check out our channel after you listen to this episode. So now coming back to the episode, in this episode we'll be talking about brain drain, which is also known as human capital flight. And it's a little bit complicated and it's a very vast topic to talk about. But I promise we'll try to keep it simple and short and meaningful. For those who don't know, brain drain is basically the immigration of talented, highly talented and qualified people from a particular country. सो बेसिकली जब कोई टैलेंटेड बंदा जॉब के लिए या हायर स्टडीज के लिए कोई दूसरे कंट्री में जाता है तो हम उसको ब्रेन ड्रेन बोलते हैं इन लेमन टर्म्स सो इन द नेक्स्ट 30 to 40 minutes we'll be talking about like why does it happen, is it a good thing or a bad thing, what is the socio-economic implications of brain drain, so on and so forth. And of course we'll be talking about the movie Swades. नॉले शाहरुख खान खराब है
ठीक कथा
So without taking much time, let's welcome our coolest host Sambit.
Hello bhai mane Jai Jagannath. To everyone who is listening, I'm really grateful that bhai mane apan mane ethi aschanti sunujanti and so quite meticulously explained by Biswajit what actually is brain drain. So without much introduction into that topic, I would just start off from a very simple example that I have felt personally in my life. There was a moment few months before when I had to get my molar teeth removed. So what happened was I went through a couple of YouTube videos. I saw that to remove the molar teeth, you have to cut through the some chicks and get it removed, and it has to done through by putting stitches and by cutting the chicks. So when I went to one of the finest doctors out here, his name is Dr. Suman, and throughout the operation, he removed my molar teeth and he removed it. It was an partial impacted one, and he removed it without any actual like operation, actual cutting, without any stitches. I was quite surprised to see this, and when I asked him, he said, "See, Sambit, I am actually trained from German. He did his BDS from German. He got qualified from there, and he told me that he got into a promise that when he would return to India, he would serve the people with the better technologies, better apparatus, and better knowledge to spread all this." So, from this example, I would like to tell everyone that since this is the topic of brain drain, which I feel if you are really looking out for better opportunities outside, which really are, then you should go for it. But at the end of the day, if your land is calling you, you should come back and serve your country. So that actually serves your purpose of being born in this land. Yes, from this example, you might have got what we are trying to explain out here, the complications and the issues that we have found in brain drain. And we would be looking forward in detailed discussion. And with us, I would like to introduce a brother of mine, not a guest rather, because I have been closely associated with him since years, and we have like studied in the same institute. And I would not like to give him any introduction about him because it would be better if you guys listen from his own mouth what he is and what he's been doing. So with no such delay, I would like to introduce with us Ayush Maharana. So let's please welcome Ayush bhai, over to you. So can you just brief us about your journey till now?
Thank you, Sambit and Biswajit, for inviting me to your show. I mean, podcast. So I am an astronomer to say. So me and I was with these two guys back in NIT Rourkela. So I did my master's and bachelor's in physics in NIT Rourkela. So currently, I'm working as a PhD student come astronomer researcher in Nicholas Copernicus Astronomical Center, which is like the topmost research center in astronomy in Poland. So about me, I don't know why these guys invited me here, but I guess they feel that I was a part of brain drain to say, but it's been a long journey to get here, and let's begin and let me talk about why here and why not India and stuffs like so. Yeah, over to you.
So, Biswajit, you have any questions for Ayush bhai? You can ask him.
Yeah, sure. Aishwarya, I have one question for you. Since you are studying abroad, I think you can answer this better. So, what made you like go to a different country to pursue your PhD? What do you think is lacking in our country? Is it the opportunity or the better, research facilities there? So, what made you choose that?
So, initially first speaking about my field. So there is, India is not far behind in astronomy and astrophysics. So, and even people here talk about this. There's a field called pulsar astronomy, and they talk about Indian scientists a lot. And even professors here go to India for collaborations. But the problem that I feel that is in India is not, in my field, it's not technology, but it's rather resources and opportunities. So to highlight this I've also went to interviews to institutes in India. So for example, the two or three topmost institutes for astrophysics and astronomy in India are one of them is IUCA, that is Inter-University Center for Astronomy and Astrophysics. It's in Pune. I don't know how many people have heard of it even. And there's this institute called Indian Institute of Astrophysics that's in Bangalore. And obviously Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, like talking about observational astronomy. And there are other institutes like Physical Research Laboratory and ARIES. So the problem what arises is, anybody who would want to do astronomy would try to get into these institutes, right?
Yeah.
Because they provide the best infrastructures.
Yeah, definitely.
But then the intake for IUCA is 9 graduate students per year. The intake for IIA this year was 6 graduate students. So in a country where like 200 to 300 people apply for PhD position in astronomy, you have the best infrastructure has been provided, like 20 to 30 in number. So don't you think that's really the?
That sounds very low in numbers. Yeah.
Something our country, our government especially need to look for.
Yeah, because for my experience, I went to a summer school in this solar observatory in Kodaikanal. So I went to a summer school where there were 30 other peoples with me. So we all shared this common interest for research in astrophysics and astronomy. And to be honest, there were people better than me, and they were, far more talented. But the thing is, they do not have the resources to go abroad. And so we're talking about brain drain, but what about the people that are already there and we cannot help them?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, correct.
I'm coming here because I had resources to go abroad. I'm clearing space for the people who cannot go abroad. So that's my point.
Yes, exactly. This point, it's actually need to be thought of.
So Sambit, now I want to ask you in general. So what do you think of this whole brain drain thing? Do you think it's are we really not creating enough opportunities for our students or our professionals back in India? So is it that issue? What do you think in general?
Yes, in general, if you say our country, since it's a developing country, just a minor consideration, if you take a look at the number of seats that have increased in the premier institutes of our country, like IITs, IIMs, or Delhi universities, you would see that the rate of increase is very less. Where India is one of the most populous country in the whole world, representing a very amount of youth population, having the young blood, young talent. But the infrastructure with a very large population, the need the desire for the students to get into the system to get a good opportunity, the government has, let's not talk about the government, the system rather. Yes, the system is unable to provide those amount of opportunities because we have even if you have got one of the finest colleges in our country which has been producing great amount of talent, but again those numbers are very small for a country like India. And I guess there has to be a great amount of increase in spending in the educational field, creating better infrastructure for which people feel that the abroad scenarios are better, which actually is to accept very frankly. And the environment, the facilities, and the most important thing which I would like to cite is not actually pointing out to what Ayush Bhai had said, because he has a great deep interest in the research, and he is very motivated in the way which he's been doing research astronomy. I've been seeing him, and he's quite passionate about him. Another thing which I really want to point out is I've seen a lot of people who want to go abroad and do there and even settle. The point, one thing they say is lifestyle. So I don't think that's quite a good reason to go out of your country because you just prefer a better lifestyle. And so, yeah, sure. Yes.
Can I say
Yeah,
something?
sure, I see.
So yeah, I mean, some obvious things people notice outside. Like for me, example, so here, I mean, people, it's nobody judges you something, and people are like self-disciplined. I mean, I think everybody of you would have been frustrated when you
Yes,
see
yes,
people
definitely.
breaking lockdowns,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
and general uh, thing that one should do. But when you see people here, there's a lot of
Okay.
self-discipline here. I mean, that's I know this government should do something, but then the people, it's sometimes it's what you feel, you get frustrated seeing people do stupid things around you, which affects
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
So I mean, it's fine if some people. So for me, okay, I mean, I don't want to settle outside. The reasons are different, but you need to understand, when people face problems somewhere with, I mean, suppose you have people like us, we have great parents, so we really like our family, but think about
Yes.
abusive relationships, right?
Yeah, of course.
People, it's like family, right? India, I mean, people have great experiences with India, so they
Yes.
come back and give it back. But then people who have been troubled with stuff that is going here, physically, a lot of maybe they face some
Yeah,
crimes.
definitely.
But yeah, maybe it's
Yes,
personal. But that doesn't mean there are no situations like India back outside. So
yes,
you
exactly.
cannot say that,
So
right?
yeah,
But even then, the thing what happens is we always set the blame to
Okay.
intelligent people only, right? Because come and give back.
definitely.
So, you should be like general, like everybody,
Yes.
like normal
Yeah,
people
so
too.
that has
Definitely,
been the
sir.
mindset, and I quite agree with you, Ayush, regarding the point which you said. And coming back to Biswajit, I'd like to ask you this question since we are discussing this issue. What do you think? What are
Sure.
the prime reasons of this brain drain, or what is your point of view? The reasons that this thing has been happening, and what is the impact of this? Can you throw some light on this?
Yeah, sure, Sambit. Actually, I swear really made some good points like about the higher education in specific. So about the constraints of opportunities in our country. So I would love to throw some ideas on the professional aspects of it. We're actually living in an era of globalization. So I think in a liberalized economy with the flow of goods and services, brain drain is a byproduct of this whole thing. Actually, if you are exchanging goods and services, I think it's just the part of the whole process. Also, apart from the opportunities, I think it's more of an issue of supply and demand. In the dynamic times like this, I think it's really about supply and demand. If a country is in demand of highly intellectual people and talented human capital, so people will definitely go there. Brendan is really happening because of the opportunities that we are unable to create here. It's really that.
Yes, that's a very good point made out by Biswajit. I'd just like to elaborate on this issue and again come back to you. In my point of view, what I've seen, let's not go hard on facts, but just an estimate that out of all the people who go out there, only 10 to 15% of the people come back to India. So my point is, see, there are two types of reasons where you go. One of the prime reasons, much like Ayush Bhai had cited, they want to go abroad, learn, contribute about science because they're so passionate about learning and they want to do research. So in that case, I really don't.
Yeah,
It doesn't really matter whether you continue there, pursue your journey there, or come back to India because ultimately you are learning and fighting for a bigger cause because you are contributing to the field of science.
correct.
But again, coming back to the other issue where people just go to get some another cliched degree, much like a MBA or something, and they decided because there are more better job opportunities there, and they tend to settle there. And I've seen a lot of people talking about going there spending getting a PR, then getting a permanent settlement certification there. So in my point of view, the reason which I'm citing this is if your country has spent a lot of money on you, and because of those things you got educated, and that includes a lot of taxpayers' money. And from that, you got a point of view that you have a wide perception in the knowledge, and you think to go abroad. So don't you feel you should be liable enough to come back to country and contribute? Or what do you think this issue? I want to ask both Ayush bhai and followed by Biswajit. Don't you think this person who has got a lot of education from this Indian background and suddenly it's going out and settling, do you think morally we have to say that he is liable to come back to the country and give something back? Ayush bhai.
I mean, yes, morally it should be, but how much
Yes.
do people have?
Yes, the
So,
point. Yes, point to be noted.
but obviously, but the thing what is we should be noted here is belonging, right?
Correct.
So, like I said, if feel my attachment to India, trying to change, then I'll seriously come back and work hard. But yes, one fact that comes in between is like I've seen people come back and try to improve things, but then the culture, they face a lot of oppositions. There are people in India, like there's a lot of things that is, for example, let me cite an example. There's a professor in we recruited two professors in NIT Rourkela last 2 years back, and they were like highly educated. They came from education and doing the postdocs outside India. So when they came back and they wanted to, impart that education, that level of understanding to students in NITR, and trying to make this culture work, what they learned back outside in NIT Rourkela. These old professors who come and sip
Yes.
tea all day, they faced a lot of problems. So this is in education. There might be people, the today's professional scenario is quite good comparatively, but then there's government officials. If you set up something, do something new, you face a lot of objections from the government officials, or some people are not. So, but it should be the fact. I don't know, but the thing I see here visibly, like
Yes.
these Polish people, everyone
Okay.
goes outside for studies, everyone. But end of the day, whatever they have done, they go to states, they go to other countries to learn, but they come back here and
Yes.
start teaching people, what they have learned. I think it should be the case in India, because we really need what the world is doing around. We really need to know about it. And I don't know, people, we Indians, we have been brought up in a way that we see outside world as like the epitome of success,
yeah.
right? We have heard people talking about his son going out, her
Yeah,
daughter
yeah.
studying there, stuff like that. So it's been, society builds us to in this mode, and then ask us to do against it. It's difficult for some
Okay.
people.
Yes. So Biswajit, what is your point on this? I would like to give Ayush bhai a brownie point for this, making this very good point. So what do you think on this?
So yeah, the moral conflict is still there, but I think as long as like you're passionate about something, and if our country is lacking in the opportunities in a land, so I think there is no such, like, you should not be pushed to stay here and work here. So as long as you're like passionate about your work, I think you should be free to pursue it. Doesn't matter where you pursue. So I feel it's a good thing to pursue wherever you can.
Still, I feel like, still people can. There are, a lot of examples you get where people come back to India and
Yeah.
work. But then compared to the percentage that is going
Yes.
out, it's small. I agree,
I think
but I still feel that the problem here is
yeah.
like infrastructure. A
Yeah.
lot of people, because India
Yes. And a person
from
who really wants
overpopulation
to.
is lot of
I think
sectors.
India noticed to really like reverse migration after 2008 financial crisis. So a lot of Indians came back to home and started up firms. They started investing in India. So, but in the long term, we haven't seen that reverse migration, started, like, it hasn't turned out that big that we expected to. So, yeah, India, it's still there. The brain drain is still there, but I think we have a long way to go. Yeah,
Yes,
Sambit, what's
Biswajit,
your take
since
on
the
this?
last point which you mentioned about the reverse migration, so I would like to say, let's talk
Yeah.
on this issue because we have quite a lot of time. We have cited instances such as, this India being a chaotic environment, not being able to give the proper infrastructure. So let's look into a point where what can the government, along as the student, along as the system, as the learning circle being there, what are the things that can be done as a whole, not especially from the government side, as a system, what we can do rather. So from that point of view, if I talk, let's say, taking into consideration a person wants to go abroad to study MBBS because, of the healthcare facilities here, there are not very good amount of opportunities in medical institutes in India, because take into consideration India being a very overpopulous country, the number of doctors per lakh of people is very less than the countries who have a high number of doctors required per lakh of population. So since the requirement here is low, the seats are low, the government institutes are very low. So, but still, since India is a overpopulous country, people will have that demand. As Biswajit said, the demand has been constantly rising, and the government has not been able to provide that infrastructure to meet that demand. And again, from the health and the doctor field, if you come back to engineers, actually we don't need to produce more number of engineers, because every corner of our street we have a engineering institute. But what I feel, we need to have proper qualities of engineers that should be coming out from our premier institutes, and that will happen along with our population increasing, along with our country developing, the number of seats would increase. I guess past decade, what I have studied, the number of seats that has to be increased in our premier institute is not been increased to the rate the demand has been there. So because of that, I feel a lot more students who get into the premier institute, again they think of going abroad because that doesn't satisfy their need. But with both these fields, if you take into consideration, again it comes to, if you set up good institute, higher number of educational institutions, then you would have to again supply more quality of professors. So again you have to get qualified professors here. So whole this point is, if you spend more on education field, a better part of the GDP on the educational field, then you would get a better output of doctors and engineers, along with the faculties that need to be gone into and teaching them. So the whole point of these, like engineers, doctors, and the professors, generally these are the people who go out for the brain drain, and settle there. So if we start investing more on education field, then probably things start to recede, and the percentage of people going abroad would decrease. And along with this reverse migration, if other people would start to see the increasing amount of opportunity in India, of course a lot of NRIs would come and love to settle in India. So based on my points, whatever I have said, the solutions or what our system can do, by what can you say, whatever the things I have said?
What's your take on reverse migration? And we'd be glad to know आपका कब reverse like घर वापसी हो रहा है आपका.
I'll talk about that. मैं उसके बारे में बताऊंगा, but I want to add on Sambit's point that yes, we need more output, but then you need to sustain that output. Yes, I mean it's waste if you do not provide opportunities if you had a doctor or an engineer or any other field. For example, now I see startups getting more fundings recognized. So this is just the beginning of what I feel, because if you see compared to other places where there's a lot of boom in startups, they have been supported, right? They get investors, get support, and we need to create an environment for people here. One of the main issues of environment that I want to talk about is interaction. So, people, Indians feel like, okay, you do not, okay, this is just a tour, we do not need to spend much on this. But interaction is a large part of what migration of ideas and stuff. And it all adds up to this environment. So if you have a good environment to work in, so people, why would they leave India, right? I mean, what I feel, India has the best food scene. So food is done. If you provide housing, that's done. Environment is fine. Who'd like to go out there? So that's Well, that's one thing. And if you want to lure people from outside of India to back to India, I don't know. Like, it's difficult because everybody has this different idea of why they are settling outside. So some settle for uh, opportunities, and I feel if you generate this. If you find this opportunity, generate them in India, you'd surely like get them back, because India has such a potential for this. China has now. I feel the market's going to shift to
Yeah.
India a lot. So if our own people try to exploit it, then what's better than that? And maybe that would bring people outside India to back to
Yeah,
India.
definitely.
So it's all about creating this environment. But I'm still inexperienced to talk about what this environment comprises of. But yeah, that's what I believe is one of the factors
One
that
thing,
affecting it.
Aishbhai, I don't know if you have noticed this, but don't you think society has been long pursuing this matter of brain drain from a very different lens? They have been pursuing this matter from a patriotic lens. Like society में अगर कोई भी suppose यूएस चला जाता है तो लोग बोलते हैं यार उसको इकोनॉमी को चला रहा है इंडिया की, तो उसको कोई पड़ी नहीं है. So society ऐसे patriotism के lens से ये चीज को देखता है. So what's your take on this?
See, patriotism cannot be. It should be. It's just like something from the heart. So I to add on this, yeah, there are some people who feel like I have to go back. The society has given a lot to me, but then there are people like, for example, let me tell you about average people. So there are average people are not intelligent. They are not like recognized in this Indian system because we all go for the higher institute, higher stuff. But then if somebody from the lower ranks in India goes outside and does good, like he feels like I have not been provided good opportunities in India, why do I
Correct.
go back to India? So the one thing we should recognize is the passion. We all talk so much about intelligence, bringing the intelligent people back, but talk about
Yeah.
passionate people, right? If you instill the passion, whatever you do, you cannot affect somebody's mindset. But if somebody is passionate and he's passionate about working, he'd really recognize, working in India would be great. So, rather than addressing patriotism,
Uh, Yes, Ayush bhai.
address passion
Yes,
maybe.
from this
That's a very
point,
And just
interesting.
मैं ये बोलना चाहता हूँ कि उसको like from this point, certain things have started in my mind. Which कोई बंदा उतना interested, if he is so passionate about going out and studying, and like as an Indian, if someone goes out, studies, and if he does such a getting a real breakthrough in the science field, maybe winning a Nobel Prize up to there, then India would be really proud of them. So considering not relating it to patriotism, what Biswajit also asked for. तो ये चीज को ऐसा दिखा सकता है कि मतलब सारे दुनिया में जितना भी मतलब भारतीय लोग उधर जाके सेटल हुए हैं, काम कर रहे हैं, तो उन लोगों को एक संख्या की तरह नहीं देख के अगर हम एक शक्ति की तरह देखें, भारतीय शक्ति की तरह, तो
Oh,
might be it would seem it.
nice.
Yes.
And yes, I'd
हाँ.
like to like pose a counter argument. मतलब मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ. So
Okay.
one of the problems of brain drain is we celebrate people who go
Yeah.
out from India.
True.
So they are not Indian citizens. If so, for example,
Yeah.
people who are now American citizens, they are not Indian citizens. So we celebrate them like they're our own, and then complain
Yes.
about
Yes.
brain
Really
drain.
Yeah,
Isn't
ironic.
that
really
hypocrisy?
ironic.
Yes.
Okay, if you appreciate
Yes.
Abhijit Banerjee
Yes.
for his Nobel, I really appreciate his intelligence. He won a Nobel.
Yeah.
That's great. But do not say he was
Yes.
from here. He was his Indian origin, because he
Correct.
didn't
Yeah.
do this in India.
Yes.
Maybe he did stuff in India. He'll
Yeah.
help in India. That's fine. Okay, but do not that we celebrate people who go outside, do a lot of stuffs. We celebrate
Satan Nadal. Yes.
Sundar
Satya
Pichai,
Nadella.
and
That's
then we
a
complain
really good
if we
Yeah.
point,
go out.
and which I would really feel that it would take a time for me to come back to this point. So again, something has also been running in my mind that I want to share it, and I want a feedback on both of you from this point which I'm having. Is that I feel, suppose
Sure.
since I segregated people who are going abroad based on two categories. Suppose those who are passionate want to pursue their research field and go into it, and the other people who really want to just go into a corporate, like after getting a degree, they want to get a corporate life and settle there to have a better life. For the latter sector of people which are segregated, if we have a something like it can sound a bit extreme point of view, but something like a brain drain tax. Okay, because people go out there to have a better lifestyle. If our country would ask a great amount of tax from them because they're going there just to settle there for a better lifestyle, but rather your country has invested a lot in your education. So I would feel that would have a good impact that people, instead of going out, if they feel that lot of money again they have to give back to India, so they wouldn't opt to settle there in abroad. Rather they would think that yes, they can come here, look for a better opportunity, save a lot. And the normal mentality which I've discussed is that they go there because there's a lot of money out there, better lifestyle, they would earn a lot and save a lot. So this brain drain tax which I have come across, I thought across. So I think that would be some kind of extreme point of view, but again, on a positive note, we can see this. So what's your take on this, Vishwajit? Then followed by Aisha, you can say.
That's a good point, Sambit. So yeah, coming back to India and starting something, yeah, it's a tough thing. So there are some few constraints here. So let's say someone like decides to come back to India and invest. So do we have enough skilled labor here? Do we have the right kind of policies to support them? So yeah, those things really need to be taken care of. We have to really make some changes in our education system and
Yes, I is right.
What I want to add on this is, I mean, like the moral point is like we should always come back. I mean, there are other opportunities. I don't feel there is in some fields there are really like good opportunities, because if you see all the big companies abroad are
Yes,
like
because of the cheap
investing
labor,
to
I
set
guess.
up
Yes.
a part of them in India. So yes, I mean cheap labor, everything, but this should be this initiative from people in India too, right? But I'm inexperienced to do this, but I do
Yeah.
not understand the reason why this is not happening. I mean, if you guys have any idea, I would really like to know,
Yes.
because it shouldn't be the case what's happening now. There are opportunities, there is market, because all of the companies want to come to India to set up something or create a plant or set up their offices. Why are we ourselves being able to
Yes.
take the
Yes,
advantage of
that's
it?
even a good
That's
point.
what
Like a
I'm
lot of
curious
outside
about.
companies also investing, and that can be a good opportunities for Indians to get the advantage if that really spreads across all the cities. Especially you have very few cities as the hub, like Bangalore, Gurgaon, Delhi, and few cities only where we call as such so-called IT hubs and where foreign countries are investing in. Maybe if that spreads across all the states, all the major capitals, and we have a whole different communities of from different backgrounds of India coming together and joining hands and maybe taking that advantage of globalization. Yes, that would really be a good idea and good point to take on this topic. Yes. And Biswajit, anything you want to say?
Yeah, actually, there is an index. Actually, there is an index to like they measure how is it to start a company in any country. So India is pretty behind in that index. So I think we really need to make some changes in our policies. That's a big
Yes.
thing India needs right now.
So
There's this, we have a cycle, right? I mean, the richer gets rich and the
Yeah,
poorer gets poor, and whoever finds money and he just keeps on accumulating. If
yeah,
somebody finds more money abroad, he goes and he
correct.
thinks it's for myself, and we are being
yeah,
like, it all becomes
Yeah, correct.
personal then. So this should be this, breaking the cycle, the Indian companies then contributing to the ground level and building some infrastructure,
yeah,
which grows up to build some more people, more skilled labor, who really feel,
yeah,
entitled to give it back because they got from the same system. So I think there's a break in the system because people are not getting
yeah,
the same thing from the system, so they're not giving it back. You need to really get the system going in. I mean, if you find somebody who's really advanced in India and he's contributing to you, because, for example, in my sector in education, I see this Tata Institute of Fundamental Research doing really well. I mean, Tata has been contributing to each and every aspect of the society. We have a research center. I mean, there's an
yes,
International Center for Theoretical Sciences at Bangalore, on the outskirts of Bangalore. It's one of the most international, largest theoretical hub in India. And if you look at its seminars or its collaborations. It's Massachusetts, Princeton, and every all good institution outside. So I see Tata Institute of Football.
Yes.
It's contributing to Indian football team. It's contributing to all sectors. But we see such initiatives from a lot of other people, who have the opportunities to provide opportunities. We would really see people feeling this
Good point,
bond or this
Aishwai.
patriotism you talk about.
Yes, Biswajit.
Also, I have one question for Aishwai. So I think for me, like Brendan is a really complicated topic. It like there are talks about passion, there are talks about lack of opportunities. So at any point, did you feel like the movie Swades was a like more simplified version of a larger, like bigger issue? So did you like feel that?
I don't think so. I mean, Swades was. I would feel it's just a small fraction of the whole people. I mean, you really find a lot of people like what they talk about in Swades. So there was a ex-director of ISRO, P. Sri Kumar. So he was in NASA for 10 years. He got his PhD from University of New Hampshire in US. He worked in NASA for 10 years, but he came back. He came back and worked for ISRO. So you will find like thousands of examples like this. But then also you will find 5,000 examples of who people stayed out and contributed to other people. I don't know. I mean, from a statistics point of view, it's just because India has a large number of people. We see a lot of Indians performing good outside, but there are also a large number of people who come and contribute.
I guess we have almost talked about everything we really wanted to talk or share, and
ଆଜିର ବିଷୟବସ୍ତୁର ବିଶାଳତାକୁ ସମୟର ସ୍ୱଳ୍ପତା ମଧ୍ୟରେ ଆଲୋଚନା କରିବା ମୋର ସୀମିତ ଶକ୍ତିର ବାହାରେ.
So coming to that, let's wind up this show, and before you wind up, so I would like to ask one conclusive statement from each of the participants. So first, Biswajit, you can say from this discussion what you take. Similarly, Aishwai, you can point just as a conclusive, be brief about it. Then I'll give my statement and we'll wind up. So yes, Biswajit.
Yes, sure. First of all, I'd like to thank Aishwai. So he really made some great points and we really had a great conversation. So yeah, in conclusion, I'd like to say that first of all, Brendan is a very vast and delicate topic to talk about. So obviously you might have missed some points. Please let us know in the comment section of our YouTube channel or Instagram, wherever you can. Few last things I want to add here. When it's about passion or doing something, for greater good, I think boundary doesn't matter. You should pursue wherever you can. I think we're living in a global village right now, but at the same time, I would like to add that, know where your contribution matters the most. If you can contribute something back in India, I think that contribution will matter a lot for a larger number of people. Keep in mind, also this is not about patriotism. So it's time we should stop looking at this thing from that lens. Yeah, that's it. So etika humor वक्तव्य शेष करते जय हिंद.
Yes, Aishwai, you can say.
Thank you, Sambit.
So my point stays the same. That's, rather being concerned about brain drain, we should be concerned about creating the opportunities, because we do not have a lack of people. We do not have a lack of intelligence. We do not have a lack of mind. We just have a lack of opportunities. And if you want to, appeal to the morality of people staying outside and ask them to come back, I would suggest send them pictures of the Hibara Aludam and Indian street food every day. I don't think anybody would want to stay outside if they see the pictures regularly.
Really good point. So, and coming back to this, and any Odia who loves Pokkhala would have a very no to going abroad and staying here. So yes, very good point made by Biswajit and Aishwai. And from my side, this was a really great insight for me to talk on this topic, though this was a very complicated and a vast thing. We just discussed about what are the reasons that has been issuing on this issue of brain drain, and on the latter part we talked about how our system can provide better opportunities so that the students don't leave our country or have this reverse brain drain where people come out and work here. Then I posed a point which I think it has to be debated more as a brain drain tax. People who really want to go abroad and settle just for a better lifestyle, they should be taxed more. That still has to be debated for a better outcome of it. And in the end, I would like to say, since we had a great conversation with our guest Ayush Bhai, I would like to tell all my listeners who are listening out here that be like Ayush Bhai, who thinks that you go abroad, study there, get something, and come back to India and contribute, give something back to our country. That has a really impact on our country. But again, don't be like that guy who passed out from Moscow and India में आके वो TikTok पे हग रहा है, ठीक है? So don't be like that guy. So we sum it up all. So thank you everyone for listening, and those who have stayed this late to understand and listen to us. And I would like to thank especially Ayush Bhai. Really, we are really pleasure to have you, and Biswajit also. Thank you. So yes, stay tuned, stay high, and Saili Hover is back. Yes, bye bye.
Okay, Bhaiwane. There was a thing which I wanted to tell. Our friend, our co-host Siddharth Samal had a production issue, so he was working on that. So he couldn't join for the whole discussion, but he is here with us right now. So I want to ask him what is his take on this, like the moral obligations we have when we as students go out to enhance our talent, and or just simply go out to settle abroad, or it is that we are ditching our own country for the sake of going abroad and learning something. So what is your take on this, Siddharth Samal? I just want to hear from you. Yes.
Hi guys. So my take on this would be something like this. For decades, India's skilled professionals have preferred emigrating to West in search of better job, lucrative salaries, and higher standards of living. But today's millennials are also keen to follow the same course. So what we can do, India is just a decade away from changing its status into a developed and superpower nation. But unfortunately, history is repeating itself. So what the government can do right now is to provide people with like better opportunities to cater to their needs, and of course give them opportunities to bloom. Then only India will be a superpower, right? So the government should know that like people are going out for better studies, better research opportunities, and better job opportunities. So government should take some actions to create those opportunities here itself in India and harness their talents. By then only we can have such a developed nation that we can call it a superpower in next decade or 2 decades. But for that, government needs to change a lot of policies, need to focus on education.
Okay, Samal, one question for you. So, do you think there is a moral obligation for the students or professional who are staying abroad to come back to India? I mean, what is ideally right or wrong? What do you think?
Yeah, Bisu, I think there should be an moral obligation to the students who are going like outside for pursuing their higher studies, because it's good that they are pursuing a noble cause for the world. But at the end of the day, they should come back to their country and contribute to its development, right?
Yeah.
Because if we people will not contribute, then who will contribute for our country's development? And that's the question I think the millennials should ask themselves definitely and introspect that.